And I'm live. Good evening, everyone, and happy Friday. Happy Friday the 17th, which, as I understand it, is a very unlucky day here in Italy. So, hopefully, all of you had a good day today and it was uneventful and you stayed inside and everything was okay. Um, my name is Pearl, and I am originally from Florida in the United States. So I have an American accent, so hopefully that is okay for all of you. I work in one of the Milano schools, Milano Montenero specifically. So maybe you've seen me before, maybe you've seen my colleagues, but thank you for watching and joining me today. Please say hi in the chat and tell me where you're from. When you guys participate, it's really great and it makes the webinar so much better because I like interacting with the students, and it also gives you a chance to practice writing in English and you get to talk to me, which is nice as well. So say hi in the chat. Let me know where you're from. Maybe I already met you and I know who you are. And also I hope you all had a very lovely Easter now that it's over. So today we are going to talk about making generalizations. In this focus activity, making generalizations, gender and cultural differences, adverbials for making generalizations too. So today we're going to talk about gender differences, which is always an interesting topic, considering the day and age we're in. And we're going to talk about cultural differences. So I am American, so this is a great opportunity for me to share a little bit of American culture, and also it's a great way for me to learn a little bit more about Italian culture. So tell me, educate me, let me know things about Italy. All right, so what are generalizations? What are generalizations? So let's start first. So what are generalizations? I do want to point out that in American English, we write generalization with a Z as opposed to an S. So it's very strange to me. But what are generalizations? What are they? So in the chat, tell me. What are they? Are they good? Are they bad? Are they accurate? Maybe sometime. So let me know in the chat. What are generalizations? What are generalizations? Or maybe you can give me an example of what a generalization is. So let me know what generalization is. That'd be fun too. It could be about anything. So tell me what a generalization is, or maybe give me a generalization example about anything. Right? Let me know. I'll give you. Hi, Federico. I'm Federico from Rome. Hi, Federico. Thank you for joining. Welcome. I love Rome. I actually lived in Rome for a year many years ago. It is my favorite city in the world. I love Rome. Thank you for joining us. So the question I asked, what are generalizations? In your own words, what are generalizations? Or give me an example of a generalization. I've heard many generalizations here in Italy from Italians. I've learned a lot. Great. Hopefully everyone's having a good day. Federico, it's like when you talk about a topic without going into specifics. Yes, without going specifics. Okay. Yeah, a generalization is a general idea or belief about a group or about something, right? The general belief, a common belief that people think about maybe a person, a thing, a place. It's similar to a stereotype. Hi, Clara. Thank you for joining us. I haven't seen you in a long time, Clara, but thank you for joining. Yeah, so a generalization is similar to a stereotype in English. They're very similar, but I usually, in my opinion, I think stereotypes usually have a very negative connotation associated with them. Stereotypes are never really good, but sometimes generalizations can be good or somewhat accurate based on experiences, whereas stereotypes are really not so nice, and most often they're not very accurate. Great. Okay, let's continue. All right, making generalizations. How strongly do you agree or disagree with each statement? First one, in most cases, men are more aggressive than women. Women are generally more intuitive than men. Men find it more difficult to express their emotions than women most of the time. On the whole, women are more interested in long-term relationships than men. So these are a lot of generalizations here. Maybe these are some you've heard before. I've definitely heard some of these generalizations before. So tell me in the chat, do you agree or disagree with these statements? Maybe you half agree, maybe you completely agree. Maybe you totally disagree. And they're very general. So in most cases, so just tell me in the chat, and I will talk to you guys about my personal opinion. In most cases, men are more aggressive than women. I don't know. I think it depends on what the topic is. I feel like maybe when it comes to competition, they're a little more aggressive. Maybe it's all the testosterone. I don't know. But I think when it comes to protecting your children, women are more aggressive, maybe. I don't know. I guess it really depends on the situation. So what do you think? Tell me, do you agree with these statements or not? Half agree? I mean, there are aggressive men and there are aggressive women, but I guess it depends on each person. This is a very subjective statement. Depends on your own personal opinion, right? Women are generally more intuitive than men. I've heard this statement a lot, the second statement a lot growing up, that women's intuition, intuitive is the adjective, intuition is the noun. Growing up, I've heard that women have very good intuition and you should always listen to your woman's intuition. So I've heard it growing up. I don't know for sure if it's true, maybe. Claris, number one, it depends. I think that women can be more aggressive verbally. Ooh, yeah, Clara, I didn't think about that. I think you're right. I agree. I think women can be more aggressive verbally. We use our words. And do you think maybe men are more aggressive physically? Maybe. But yes, I think when it comes to being verbally aggressive, I think maybe women are a little bit more talented at that than men. Number two, Clara, am I a feminist if I agree with the second statement? If that makes you a feminist, then I guess I am a feminist as well. It's funny. It's really funny because we use for women, it's like your intuition is what a feeling you get about something. So we usually use intuition to talk about women, but if we want to make it more neutral, gender neutral, we say a gut feeling. A gut. So the gut is your stomach area. So maybe we won't say to men, listen to your intuition, but we'll say, listen to your gut. So I'm going to write that in the statement. Intuition is the same as a gut feeling. And your gut is your stomach area. So I think, I don't know if you're more intuitive. I think maybe sometimes. I think women have better intuition when it comes to certain things, like maybe with their children. They are more intuitive to their children's needs or maybe what they want because they are very connected to their children because they gave birth. So maybe women are more intuitive for children's needs. Hi, Valeria. I missed you too. Thank you so much for joining. I haven't heard from you in a long time, but thank you for watching. It's okay if you're late. Doesn't matter. The more people that participate, the better. Um, but yeah, so we're right now, Valeria, we're discussing if we agree or disagree with these statements. Clara has told me her opinions. Federico, what do you think? You are a male. I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions on these statements. It is an open discussion, right? We can say what we feel. Yeah, so I think, as I was saying before, I think women can be more intuitive for certain things, maybe for children with their babies. I think maybe they're a bit more intuitive. Men find it more difficult to express their emotions than women most of the time. Number three, for men's emotions, I agree with this statement, particularly in America. Men are raised to not be in the past. Maybe times are changing. It's 2020. In America, and specifically, it really men don't really like to express emotion too much. And in the past, it was men were taught to not cry or to not share their feelings because it was a little too feminine or too girly. So in America, I think I can definitely agree with this statement that men do find it more difficult to express their emotions. In Italy, I am not sure. From what I've experienced, I think Italian men are better than American men when it comes to expressing their feelings, for sure. But that might be a cultural difference. Italians are more passionate than Americans. That's my generalization, that Italians are more passionate and warm than Americans are. So I agree with the statement in reference to America. I don't know about Italy. Clara says, no, I reckon that it depends on personality. Absolutely. Some men are more emotional, are more expressive than others. It's great. There's nothing wrong with expressing your emotions. It's always good to release what you're feeling so you don't keep it bottled up inside. Federico, maybe the third I can agree, but depends on the personality. Yes. So only the third one, Federico, you agree with, but the rest we disagree. Okay, Valeria, I agree in general, but it depends. There's always some sort of stipulation between every generalization, I think, right? But yeah, in three, I agree for Americans. Italians, I cannot say. I am not sure. Number four, the last one. On the whole, women are more interested in long-term relationships than men. Again, I think this also depends on personality. I think every person is different. I know plenty of women who are not interested in long-term relationships, and I know men who are. So I think it's just not an accurate generalization. But I think in the past, in America for sure, the women were more concerned about getting married and being in a long-term relationship that led to marriage. But now that we are in 2020, I think women now have other priorities besides being in a long-term relationship. Not all, but there are some women I think now, especially with this generation, career is also very important and not necessarily second behind finding a long-term relationship. Number four, Clara says, number four, it depends too. I think that nowadays women are more focused on their careers and not establishing long-term relationships. I think it also depends. I agree. Yes, so some women are more focused on their careers, absolutely growing their careers, than finding a partner for a long-term relationship. Valeria says, in the early 20s, maybe, but after meeting some kind of men, they changed their idea. That is very true, Valeria. Yes, it is possible. They're disappointed and they changed their mind. It is possible, yes. It could definitely happen. I think when we're younger, I don't know about you ladies, but in America, in my age, when I was younger, we all had a very specific timeline, and we all thought we would meet our Prince Charming before we were 30 or do something like that. But now that we are older, we have definitely changed our minds, or we've adjusted our expectations. I think that's better, right? We've adjusted our expectations. Good. So, in these generalizations, what are the adverbials? Ugh. So in these statements, what are adverbials? So remember, adverbials are very similar to adverbs, and they add more detail or more emphasis to a statement. They are not necessary in a statement, and without the adverbials, the statement still makes sense. In most cases, absolutely good, Clara. The first one, in most cases, is our adverbial, absolutely. Else, rather similar to adverbs. Generally, yep, Valeria, good. Federico, great. Generally. Next, on the whole, perfect. On the whole, and the most of the time, good. Most of the time, and on the whole, perfect. Those are our adverbials. Great job, guys. Easy peasy. All right, making generalizations. What generalizations have you often heard about men or women? Try to use the following phrases for making generalizations. In most cases, generally, most of the time, on the whole, broadly speaking, in most cases, men make more money than women. That example is unfortunately holds true in America. It is a shame. But so tell me some generalizations. I do not want to limit the generalizations between men and women. If you want to talk about a generalization about something else, maybe Italians with other nations, or maybe the north of Italy, because Valeria, you're from the north, Clara and Federico, we have center south. So if you want to talk about generalizations between different regions, of course, tell me about that. So I don't want to limit it between women and men. It's a very hot topic that could go a very bad direction. But yeah, so tell me some generalizations using the adverbials. It doesn't necessarily need to be about men or women. It can be about America and Italy, or maybe generalizations you've heard from other things, Americans versus British people. So any generalizations. I would love to hear the generalizations you've heard about Americans. I can tell you if I agree or disagree. I could tell you some about. I can tell you guys generalizations I've heard about Italy. Most of them are very, very nice. Clara, broadly speaking, I think that people from the South are more open than ones from the North, or northern ones. You know, I've heard the same thing, Clara, when I first arrived to Italy. I lived in Rome, and one of the first things I was told was, in general, generally speaking, that people from the South are more open or a little bit warmer than people from the North. Oh, Valeria, you are a very warm person. I think you're very kind, Valeria. I love having you in my lessons. So no, I don't agree with that. But in general, I have heard that generalization before, that people from the North are a little bit colder, or not, I don't want to say colder, but maybe they're more serious than people from the South. But I have heard that generalization before. I don't know if it's accurate. I'm trying to think, because I think there are very warm people here in Milan, but then again, a lot of people in Milan are from the South, so I don't know. But the people who I have met from the north are very kind. So, like Valeria. Valeria is from Como, I remember, and you're very kind. So I think it depends on the person, honestly. So what other generalizations can you tell me about? Italy compared to France, or UK compared to America, or Canadians, whatever. What other generalizations are you? Can you tell me? I don't know. If you want to talk about men and women, of course, tell me. Federico, what about Rome? Tell me about Rome. Some generalizations from Rome. Romans are, I don't know. Sicilians are, I don't know. Tell me some generalizations. Not stereotypes, but generalizations. Stereotypes are usually very negative. Generally, American people are used to eating more junk food than people from other countries. You know what? I would agree to a certain extent. Yes. No, wait. It depends on the region. You know, I'm just going to say yes, it is true. I think we have more options. We have a larger variety of junk food in America available compared to other countries. That is for sure. So yeah, I think the access is available, but I think it also depends where in America you're from. Like, for example, if you're from California, who are in that state is very healthy, they're very focused on healthy and clean eating, so they're not so much focused on junk food. But the rest of the country, I think it's probably true. But yeah, we're getting better. We're adapting. Americans are used to eating junk food. I do like snacking, but I try to eat healthy snacks. But it's difficult in the quarantine to not eat junk food because I want something quick. Good. Ooh, tell me some more. Tell me some other generalizations you've heard. Federico says, in most cases, present perfect, I've heard people say that Romans are ruder, ruder than other people of different regions, and that's not true. Huh. You know, Federico, I've never heard that generalization before. And having lived in Rome, I don't think that's true. I don't think they're ruder than any other region, not that I can think of. I think there are other regions I've been to where I wasn't treated so politely as other regions, but I don't think that Romans are the ones I've met. At least I don't think those Romans are very rude. I think they're actually very kind, very polite. Oh, that's not a very nice one. Good. Any other ones? Any other generalizations? Another generalization I've heard is that food from the South is better than food from the North. And personally, I do prefer the food from the South, but that's my personal preference. But that's a generalization that I've heard. So, Clara said, I think people from Rome are friendly, not rude. See, Federica, Clara doesn't think so either. Perfect. Good. So people from Rome are kind. But I do think there are rude people in any region, no matter where you go, pretty much. Right? Great. Let's continue. All right. Making generalizations. Fill in the gaps to complete phrases for making generalizations, and then finish the sentences to make them true for you. So I'm pretty that Spanish food is than other cuisines. Broadly, Mediterranean cultures are more than Northern European cultures. Whole Americans are more than the British. In most women care more about than men. Of the time, younger people prefer to than other. So for this one, before we get started and before we start answering it, I want to review the first part of each sentence. So the first blank spaces. The first blanks are adverbials. So if you can tell me what the adverbials are for each number, and then you can answer the rest. You can fill in the blanks. We don't give answers for that. So what are the adverbials for the numbers? So 1, what is the adverbial? They give you a part of it. 2, so complete the adverbials for each one and then fill in the second blank with your personal opinion because it could be different for each of you. What you think? Number 1 is kind of weird, taking a long time, but I will do number 1 with you guys. So number 1, I'm pretty sure. So that is the first adverbial. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. Good, Federico, perfect. The adverbial for 2, 3, and 4. Broadly speaking, wonderful, Federico. Broadly speaking. Number 3. I said it earlier. Good. Valeria 2, speaking, wonderful. On the whole, perfect. 4, in most cases, great job. Good job, Valeria, Federico. Good. Number 5. Easy. Most. Perfect. Great job. So now that we have the adverbials, finish the sentence with your own personal opinion. So I'm pretty sure that Spanish food is, and then other cuisines. So fill in the blanks with your own personal opinion. I would love to know. So tell me, what do you guys think? I'm pretty sure that Spanish food is cuisine. I love Spain, and I do quite enjoy the food from Spain. So I'm pretty sure that Spanish food, but then other cuisines. I'm pretty sure that Spanish food is better than other cuisines. You're Italian, Valeria. That was a strong statement. But yes, is it better than other cuisines? All right, good. It could be better, on average, compared to other cuisines. So we have a comparative there. I'm pretty sure that Spanish food is, on the average, compared to other cuisines, to be better than other cuisines. Number 1 is more based on fish. Is pescatarian. Maybe Clara, pescatarian is more pescatarian than other cuisines, I would say. Or maybe you could say, I'm pretty sure Spanish food is based on seafood more than other cuisine. So yes, or maybe pescatarian. It's more pescatarian than other cuisines. Yes, it is possible. They do use a lot of fish there. Good, Valeria. No, of course, Italian is the best. Yes, Italian is delicious. All right. Number 2, broadly speaking, Mediterranean cultures are more than your Northern European cultures. So, Spain, France, Italy, Greece, these Mediterranean cultures. So, broadly speaking, Mediterranean cultures are more. I think, broadly speaking, Mediterranean cultures are more relaxed than Northern European cultures, especially when it comes to time. Clara, broadly speaking, Mediterranean cultures are more friendly than Northern European cultures. I agree. I think they are warmer. They're more welcoming. But the Northern European countries are very nice as well. But I think they are a bit friendlier than Northern European countries. Oh, Federico. Yes, Neva, you're right. And broadly speaking, Mediterranean cultures are more documented than Northern European countries. Maybe. It's possible. Okay. Like when you say documented, Federico, do you mean the people here, the foreigners here, are more documented in the system than in the northern country? Is that what you mean by documented? think. I am not sure. Or maybe they have more history because they're a lot of documents. I don't know. You have to explain that a little bit more, Federico, for me. Good. Broadly speaking, I think Mediterranean cultures, they're friendlier, they're more friendly. Well, there's no answer for this one. Number 3, on the whole, Americans. Well, I want you to tell me number 3, Clara, because I want to know your opinion, because any opinion I say will be very biased because I am American. So number 3, Clara said number 4. In most cases, women care more about children than men. It is possible. I mean, in history, no, I mean in the history, we have less information about that, but I don't know. Maybe it is possible. It is possible that Americans are more, they have more history, they're more historical than Northern European countries. It is possible. A lot of civilization started around the Mediterranean. So I think, yeah, Federico, you're correct. It is very possible. Valeria, number 3, on the whole, Americans are more easygoing than the British. I think so. I think we are. I don't know, Valeria. Who do you think is more easygoing, me or David? You can tell me. David's not here. Americans are more easygoing than the British. I think we seem more easygoing. It is probably because our accents are a little bit more informal sounding than the British, I think. I think we're more easygoing. Yes, good. Number 3, on the whole, Americans are more open-minded. I mean, they're more open to welcome other cultures than the British. We are a melting pot. I agree. Americans are more open-minded than the British. Yes. I agree. Yes, I think Americans are around the water, like in the center of the country, maybe not. But yes, I think we tolerate other cultures better probably than the British, from what I've heard. Yes, let's do a negative one. I feel a little guilty that we're saying Britain is not all these good ones. And I've actually heard, I don't know if you agree with this statement, that people have told me that on the whole, Americans are more violent than Britain or European countries. David is shyer, but he's easygoing too. David is a little, is David shyer maybe? I don't know. Yeah, I guess so. This David is easygoing. But on the whole, for number 3, Americans, I've been told that Americans are more violent than other countries. Or more violent than European countries for sure. That's what I've heard because of our gun laws. I don't know if you agree. I am inclined to agree a little bit because we do have a lot of unfortunate situations with guns, so maybe it is true. Number 4, in most cases, Clara said women care more about children than men. Yes, I think traditionally that is true. It is not the case for David. For what I've known through webinars, he seems friendly and open-minded as well as you. Yes, me and David are very close. He is very open-minded as well. He is open-minded. So in general, here we go. In general, the south of Great Britain, or England in particular, from what David's told me, in general, the south of England is more liberal and more open-minded than the north of England. And David is from London, which is in the south. In America, it's actually the opposite. The north, with the exception of Florida, where I am from, the north is more liberal and open-minded compared to the south. So actually the opposite. So me and David actually come from very open-minded liberal places. Maybe that's why. But yes, I will tell David that you said that, Claire, and he'll be very happy. But yes. Good. In most cases, women care more about children than men. That's what Clara said. Yeah. In most cases, women care more about shopping. than men, maybe, probably, or makeup. I don't know. Beauty. In most cases, women care more about beauty than men. Maybe I don't know. I don't know because I feel like in Italy, men are very well groomed in Italy compared to America. Like men here pay more attention to their appearance than Americans do. So in America, women care more about beauty and aesthetics than men do for their appearance. Exactly. Or in most cases, women care more about their appearance than men. Yes, in America, Federico says in most cases, women care more about organization than men. You know what, Federico? I agree. I think so. Most women, in most cases, not all of them. Right? Good. Number 5, most of the time, younger people prefer to than, let's see, in most of the time, younger people prefer to make TikTok videos than other people, than older people. I don't know. Younger people. We are all young. What do we prefer to do compared to other people? Most of the time, younger people prefer to go out during the night than older people. Yes, that is I think, an accurate generalization. Yeah. Younger people prefer to go out during the night than older people. Most of the time, younger people prefer to, I don't know, than older people. Younger prefer to, it's a hard one. I don't know. Because we are all young, prefer to cook less than older people. I don't know. I don't like to cook so much. I prefer to cook less than older people. They prefer. The best TikTok I've seen are made by old people. Oh, I don't have TikTok. I am not. I don't really understand TikTok, but I don't have it. But I've seen videos on the internet. But maybe I should. I don't want to download the app. There's already too many. There's too many TikTok apps. There's so much I can't keep up. Most of the younger people prefer to. Now, teaching here in Milan, I feel like most of the time younger people prefer to learn English than older people because they need it more for their careers and jobs or for school, whereas older people are towards the end of their career. Maybe they don't need it so much. Maybe, I don't know, my school. Or younger people prefer to experiment more than older people. Maybe. You let me know. You write in the comments. We're all very young. All right, let's continue. All right, how to speak generally. Change the following to general statements. Dogs are more affectionate than cats. Cats are more independent than dogs. Anglo-Saxon cultures have a more linear view of time than Mediterranean cultures. Americans are less formal than the British. So these are statements without our adverbials. So change these statements by adding an adverbial to make them a generalization. Younger people prefer to travel abroad than older people. Yes, I think so. Maybe because they have the energy. Or I don't know. Maybe they want to travel more for the Instagram. I don't know, but yes, maybe yes. Younger people prefer to travel more than older people, or maybe travel to more exotic places than like older people. It's possible. Great. So dogs are more affectionate than cats. Cats are more independent than dogs. So change these statements. Add an adverbial to make them generalizations. I do agree with these two about cats and dogs. In most cases, so we don't need of. In most cases, dogs are more affectionate than cats. Good, I agree. I do think that Dogs are more affectionate than cats. I've had dogs and I've had cats, and the dogs usually my dogs usually were more affectionate. On the whole, cats are more independent than dogs. Absolutely. Yes, they are. Wonderful. They said in most cases, dogs exhibit more affection towards human, but what you said, Clara, is absolutely correct too. This is just another way to say it, more elegant way. Exhibit more affection towards human than cats. Well, yes, what you said is fine. Let's see. Did this? Okay. The second one, they said generally cats behave more independently than dogs. Same thing that you said, Valeria. On whole, cats are more independent than dogs. Yes, that is true. Cats are generally, I think, cats are meaner than dogs. Cats are mean. I like cats, but I prefer dogs. Anglo-Saxon cultures, so non-Mediterranean cultures, maybe more northern European cultures, have a more linear view on time than Mediterranean cultures. So their value of time isn't so fluid, or they don't see time as fluidly as Mediterranean cultures do, maybe. Anglo-Saxon cultures, I think I'm more inclined to agree with this statement. Anglo-Saxon cultures have a more linear view of time. Having traveled around the Mediterranean and traveled to Northern Europe, I did notice that the transit systems in the other countries in the north were a little bit more dependable than the transit system in some countries around the Mediterranean. So yes, but I could be wrong. Maybe I've just gone to the wrong country. Good. What do you think? Change that sentence to add an adverbial. On the whole, in most cases, what do you think? Americans are less formal than British. This is a very popular generalization, and I don't know if it's true. I think people think this generalization because of the British accent. Even some Americans think British people are more elegant and formal because of that accent. In the past, I tended to agree. I don't know now. I do think that American English compared to British English is a bit more informal and simpler than British English for sure. On the whole, Anglo-Saxon people have a narrower view than Mediterranean. Okay, yes, that is possible, right? A narrower view of time than Mediterranean cultures. Yes, they're less flexible. They're a little bit more stringent with their view of time. Absolutely, I do agree with that statement. Yes, good job, Clara. Good. Americans are less formal than British. You know what? Also, I think people think British people are more formal because they have a monarchy, because they have Queen Elizabeth and Prince Charles, etc. And that is why they seem more formal than Americans, because we don't have a monarchy, a democracy, republic. So maybe that is why Britain seems more formal than Americans, because we don't have a queen. But I've seen some not so formal British people. Federico, generally Americans dress more casual than British people, but I don't know if that's true. They dress more casually. I don't know. I think maybe. Well, this is a good question because you guys are all Italian. Italians generally have a good sense of fashion, right? So I can ask you Italian students, since generally Italians have a good sense of fashion, or known for their fashion sense. Do you think Americans dress better than British people or worse? Use an adverbial. So, do you think Americans dress better or worse than British people? Let me know. Use an adverbial in your answer. I'm trying to think too. Do I think? Now, having lived in Europe for a few years now, it is very obvious when there is an American. So I can aim, not because I'm an American, but obviously I can. But when I see an American from a distance, it is very apparent that they are American because of how they dress. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know. Italians. Do you think Americans dress better or worse than British people? Tell me with an adverbial. In general, I don't know. Because we have New York, and New York is a really fashionable city. Then fashion in New York is very different than fashion like in California, which is very boho, like surfer, I think. It's a little bit different. You tell me. Okay, while you're waiting. They said, on the whole, Anglo-Saxon cultures have a more linear view of time than most Mediterranean cultures. Sure, what you said, Clara, was also fine. British people are less formal than the British. Americans are less formal than the British. The adverbial, they said, broadly speaking, Americans tend to be less formal than the British. Maybe. Broadly speaking. Oh, okay. Federico says depends. I see Americans more casual and less elegant than British people, but I really don't understand anything. I don't understand anything about fashion. Oh, okay. Well, I think maybe we are more casual. Broadly speaking, I think that British people are more fashionable. So the adjective is fashionable than Americans. Yeah, everyone tells us because we're not European. But except from yeah. That is a statement a generalization that I've heard many times that Americans aren't generally fashionable. No, it's okay. I will not take offense. Well, I am here, so maybe I will exclude myself from this generalization because I have lived in Europe for a couple of years now. So my style has adapted more or less to the European style. I actually consider it a compliment if people don't immediately recognize that I'm American. So good one for me. All right. Any other generalizations? So before we finish, any other generalizations you want to tell me about Italians, or your personal opinions using adverbial? Maybe about your experiences with my English school in general. My English school is better than other schools. Yeah. Maybe. That's right. I think I've only ever worked for this school, so I don't know. But if you have experienced other English schools, tell me in general. You know, broadly speaking, in most cases, on the whole, my English school is better than other schools. Yeah. And you live in Milan, the most fashionable city in Italy. Yes, I have adapted my style a little bit because, of course, living in Milan is expensive and you cannot change your style completely on a teacher's salary. But yes, I've learned a lot about fashion living here in Milan. It's been a very educational experience for me. So when I go back to America, they will probably think I'm a little strange or too posh. All right, so we're at the end now, but thank you all for talking and participating, joining me, Federico, Clara, Valeria. I think we have a lesson together, Valeria, next week. I will see you next week. In most cases, Myes is more dynamic than the other English school. Yes. Clara, yes, thank you. Great. Generally speak, Italian men love soccer more than any other sport. Yes, Valeria, that is a wonderful generalization. I totally agree. But thank you all for watching, joining. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy the rest of your evening. And hopefully I will see some of you next week for Lesson Valeria. We have one for webinars. I hope I see you guys again. But thank you. Have a good night, everyone.